and Tamika. I am your co host, Tamika, alongside via Zoom. Yes, we are social distancing. My friend of more than 20 years, Marissa. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Good.
Yeah. You
Yep.
look cute with a hat on, FYI.
How are you making out in the quarantine? How's the week going?
So I some days and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fine. Everything's fine. You're fine. What? Yeah, okay. And then other days I'm like, I'm fine.
Okay, good to know. So today's show is entitled The Guilt and Shame of It All. Basically, we'll be discussing how others guilt us, how we guilt others, and the shame that we may or may not feel in said guilt. Um, I think a lot of that is coming to light these days, where people are forced to stay home and domesticate in some way more than they've ever had to in some cases. Um,
Right.
get to know members of their family in ways they never had to know. The side chicks are like, okay, I really ain't important. There's just
I
a
wonder how that's happening.
there's a lot of guilt going around, and it's about where do you find the shame? Is there shame? That kind of thing. And so I guess I'll start, and I'll just say, so there's nothing worse than you know when you have a conversation with someone, family, friend, whatever, and you tell them something good or something that's going on in your life, and they start to guilt you. Like nobody can make you feel bad. You can only you have control over that. But
Yeah, but sometimes we can't help it.
right, and so like I don't like to say. I try not to say, although I have been victim to it, up to saying you make me feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when it's really the words that you may be saying have an effect or an impact on how I'm feeling at the moment. It's probably a better way of saying it, but nobody in the moment talks that way. And so um, it's one of those things with the guilt. Like sometimes, do you ever feel like you're you don't want to share certain things because you feel guilty about how somebody else is going to react to it? Um,
Yeah, all the
I have those situations all the time. It's like I don't want to tell people certain truths about myself because if I do, number one, I feel like they may try to in some way or another turn it around to to make it about them, or it's so profound in my eyes that I feel guilty about it and shame associated with it. And that's there's like a whole bunch of circumstances where that has come into light, where you kind of hold your tongue, but
yeah.
that does more harm to yourself than it does when you just share it.
Do you have under this new living situation that the world is in, have you felt any of this recently?
Yeah, I definitely have. There's a guilty situation that I'm currently experiencing that I'm not ready to share with people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where like it's like hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where you ever find yourself in a situation where you judge somebody for something, and then you find yourself in that same exact situation, and you're like, well, damn, I can't tell nobody because I look crazy.
Are you taking your crow in a pie or in a cupcake?
Well, I'm thinking it away.
Uh-oh.
So,
Okay. So you feel
oh, it's
guilty.
wrong.
You're not we're not I'm not going to ask you too many questions, but you feel guilty about something or someone is aiding in you feeling allowing yourself to feel guilty.
I think it's more like I feel guilty about something. You know what I mean?
Aw.
I'm not being. I'm not being aided in it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like I have a set of core values that I always believed I had, and there comes a point where whatever that can be, it can be about your religion, it can be about, you know, finance thing, you know, whatever the case may be. We all have a set of ideas, ideals, and values that we espouse upon and say that we live by, until that moment where you're actually confronted with the hard choice of really determining, do you live by that value or do you not?
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all been there in one way or another, you know? Like, I'm a Christian, and then, you know, you go to the club Saturday night, and, you know, you leave at 5 and you're at church at 8. You know, like, praise Jesus. So,
Um, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, but I appreciate those moments where you have to like look at yourself and question who you are. That's growth. That's just human nature. That's the process of living. That's the process of, you know, interacting with people. This is human nature.
so what have you ever had those kind of experiences? Like, whether you felt guilty or someone tried to guilt you or shame you, make you feel shameful about something that you've done? Can you?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. I have an aunt that like I downplay whatever fun I might have had or how nice something might have been for me because either she wasn't um part of that or invited to, or I just I I feel guilty all the time. Yeah, and I would just like, oh, wasn't that nice? Oh, but what'd you do? Oh, not much.
You're so, with this particular person, it's so bad with you that you know it's bad when you drag other people into it.
Yeah,
That's not good. Like, you,
yeah.
like with me, I try to do my dirt all by my lonely. Like, I'm not trying to share nothing because I don't need nobody else to lie for me. Like, this is me. I'm holding this bag for myself. I'm not gonna drag you down and make you feel like you have to lie for me or just be quiet or not share your joy in the same joy that we both felt in that moment. You're not like that. You're like, look, here's the deal.
I'm taking you all down this sinking ship with me.
Like, we didn't hang out. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, we just went on a trip for 2 weeks.
I just had the time of my life.
Oh boy.
I've got an aunt who, not the same one. I've got an aunt who like you might have had like a nice lunch in passing for 15 minutes, but the way she reiterates the story makes it seem like you guys had this like profound coming to Jesus bonding experience. And you're kind of like,
Well, how do you know she didn't feel that way?
because she does that shit all the time. There's no way, like, we didn't talk about nothing. We really didn't do nothing. Like,
But there, have you ever been in a situation? I know I have, where, you know, you're out with a friend or someone. I mean, you just explained that situation now with another relative. It's like, I know this for a fact because I've been with you, and you've been like, "Oh my God, it was so amazing," and I'll be like, "Yeah, it was cool." You're like, "Bitch, it
well,
was."
you do that shit to me all the time.
Exactly. So you can definitely feel that something is great, where the other person that shared that same experience with you doesn't feel the same way.
No, I think that it's just her personality because you and I had offline conversations about her where she's like, that was real cool, right?
I'm trying to help you out. But so what do you feel? Like, do you feel shame and guilt in that when you don't feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel guilty that I didn't look at it in the same way, that I should be more appreciative and more you know, and in a perfect world, every time we spare our moments with people, we should walk away feeling blessed because every day is not guaranteed.
Right.
And somebody, even if they're wasting their time with you, they're giving you their time, and that's really important. That's not something that everybody has. So I
Right.
know I should walk away with it with that feeling. Now I feel really guilty about saying that because I'm like, wow, she's on a level that I'm not in, where she walks away from encounters with people feeling profoundly blessed, and I'm like,
The
We
thing
just gotta
that I
look.
like about this aunt relative that you speak of is that you never walk away. I've never walked away from her feeling less than or not full. You know what I mean? So if
I do,
if she's gonna make the moments that we were together feel like it was the greatest thing in history, I'm cool with it.
yeah,
I feel that
you're
way.
right.
I'm just like, I have that memory. She told somebody else it was great. Let them feel how they feel, you know. But
See, now I feel guilty.
you
No,
should
that's right.
you
You're
should
right.
feel guilty. You should definitely feel guilty. You got a lot of guilt you got to handle. You should be
I
using this time in the crib to like, tomorrow's Easter. It's the resurrection. Uh,
but that's one of the things that's so funny about like this time where it's like I can't go nowhere. I'm forced to confront myself as a human because like I'm thinning out things, I'm looking, I'm dusting and cleaning and organizing, and it's making me confront who I am as a person because I think I said this to you before where like kids are emotional heighteners. So if I'm sad, like being stuck at home with not much to do will bring that out more. So I have I hate to I don't want to take this where it doesn't need to go, but it's one of those
Make
things
it
where like
organic. It's that's what a podcast is supposed to be. Don't
yeah.
act like you don't go off topic every week.
No, you're right. But it's one of those things where it's like I'm having these profound moments with myself where I'm recalling um moments that I didn't like and looking at it from a different angle where it was like I we met when I was a kid, right? When we was kids. So remember the whole like I don't pay attention to too much, but like like you remember how kids are like, why are they laughing at me? I'm like, no, they're not laughing at you. That like right. So I'll think about in kindergarten, like they were all laughing. No, they probably weren't laughing at me. I probably did something really cute or really funny, didn't know it. So I'm trying to like look at my memory and think of things that probably that I've done that other people I feel have done to me and rewriting that, almost like retraining myself to walk away from things in a positive or in an even in like this neutral state where I always feel very awkward, especially with crowds of people that I don't really know or I'm not quite comfortable with. Striking up conversations with the hello, how are you? Oh, I love this, I love that is so easy for me. I can literally walk into anything and start talking to anyone. But carrying that on beyond the pleasantries is very hard for me, and I feel very awkward, and I feel very um um like stared at almost, or like I don't know what to do. I'm good,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at those moments and situations and saying, you know what, um almost retraining myself how to think of that and just being like, you know what, maybe you're not that awkward, and if you are, that's okay. Everybody's got something. Calm it down. And you know what? It's not always about you. Like when I'm talking to someone, if people like you, I'm pretty good with social cues. I can tell when somebody wants me to shut the fuck up, probably 7 times out of 10, um, or they want to keep talking, and maybe they needed that. So it's not about me. Maybe it's about the other person. So
Right.
I'm looking at those moments on those situations, and I'm also trying to like reframe how I'm talking to other adults where
How are you
um
doing that from home? And there's like, are you are you trying to have conversations with other people, with your kids' parents, and I mean, I'm not your kids' parents. Your
yeah, with one of them.
yeah. Um, with the parents of your kids' friends. That
No, no, not
equal.
really. So I'm in a group text with some of the girls that I work with, and sometimes like we have so many different personalities, and I'm trying to chime in whenever somebody's really like, um, oh, I don't know how I'm ever going to recover financially from this. This is crazy.
Right.
I'm acknowledging your feelings right now, but we can't think about that right now. We got things to do. what was on your list that you said you were going to do this week? And it's not that I'm trying to be dismissive, because that's not my intention. And I say that my intention is not to be dismissive. I don't want you to sit in that frame of mind. Or like, um, sometimes, like, I've been watching a lot of movies with my kids. We watched Trolls World Tour yesterday,
Mhm.
and I definitely know I'm in my own head very, very much right now. So I was looking at that movie and I walked away with it a lot more than a stinking cartoon probably wanted the message to be. But it was one of those things where it's I don't want to spoil it if anyone hasn't seen it, but I walked away with it in a celebration of everybody's always like, oh, we're different and that's okay, we're all the same and that's okay. However you feel about that, however you want to phrase that, it's about who you are. Listen to someone else. The only way to grow is to listen to someone else. They're telling you their experience and the journey that they've been through with their words and their actions. Listen. If you pause and listen, you will learn a lot more than if you kept asking and talking. And I think that's one of those things that's so beautifully done and so beautifully said, obviously, clearly. I've got 2 9-year-olds and a soon to be 8-year-old. They didn't walk away with it. They just now know that one of them apparently now likes funk, and
Oh,
that's funk music. They
oh,
go through all these genres of music.
uh, I saw the
And
preview.
yeah, they have all these genres of music represented in the movie, and like now one of them really likes funk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where like we were saying before, my experience at watching this movie with them is clearly different from theirs. They're looking at it from um just a different frame of mind, where I'm more.
You're like 30 years older than them, number
Yeah,
one. You've seen more. And
yeah,
if I was to see it, I probably would look at it different than you. So
yeah,
that's part of being human. So I mean, that's fine. You can take away
yeah.
whatever
But
you.
that's the whole thing that was my whole takeaway.
So what's the
Just,
shame and guilt of that?
there was no shame and guilt in that. It was part of the process that I was telling. This was
Oh,
my whole.
we give everybody a sneak peek of next week's show.
No, it was my whole my thought process of like the shame and guilt that I had felt in these moments of my life with my
Right.
encounters with other people. And I always feel very like, I you ever this hasn't happened to me in probably 10 years. But do you ever talk to someone and they're like, "Oh, I know we're not very close." And you're like, I, "Oh my god, you're in my will. What are you talking about?" Like, like in your mind, you're like, "I thought we were really close." And they're talking to you and you're like, "What? I thought we were really close."
Any and everybody that's ever said that to me, they were accurate.
No, no, you get the opposite. No, because I always walk into like thinking like, wow, we're really close, and then I come to find out we're not. But okay. But with you get the opposite. You always have somebody trying to tell you, "Oh my God, we're so much alike. We're so close. I know you. I know you." And I'm always like,
And truth of the matter is, nobody really knows me. And I still have trust issues because I got secrets that I can't even tell my best friend, my mother, my cousin. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things like, you know, and it's not about like it's not about me in terms it's like a circumstance. You know what I mean? Something that happened, not something that is me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just want to clear things up to people. Like I'm not pregnant or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's what I'm saying, right? Your face that you just made right there. This is what made me start. What made me want to do this show because I was watching something, and um, it was I think it was like a meme or something. I don't remember exactly, but it was like the juxtaposition between a mom with children and a mom that doesn't have kids, and so that's what it was. And then like in the comments, what's so funny about that?
a mom that doesn't have children.
A mom that doesn't have oh yeah, right, and a woman that doesn't have children. Um,
Eh,
but so the thing about that is that somebody in the comments was like, I wish people would stop making comments about women that don't have children. You don't know what their circumstances, and it's hard enough with them having to be around people that have children and seem to like you always talk about a relative who is just like, I'm getting pregnant next week, and the person would be pregnant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people that
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna think I'm gonna have 5 kids, and then you just have 5 kids. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
people like me is like, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. You can have one. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I have this guilt that's been coming lately because everything is about like everybody's posting posting videos and stuff with their kids, and it's cute, but on the other hand, you're like, damn, like it just kind of like passed me by. You know what I mean? And so sometimes I have this guilt where I'm like, why did I stop? Like I knew I was like out of money to continue, trying to have a kid, like IVF or whatever. But if I really wanted it, wouldn't I have tried, continue? And so I have this guilt that like I stopped too early, you know? But
Really?
but do I go into, is there shame in, like I don't know. Like I wrestle with that a lot, especially lately. Like there's a point in your life where, like I made the decision to stop because I didn't have enough money to, like my insurance was getting depleted. It's like one of those things. But like I still had some money in the bank. Like, but it's like, did I really want to have a kid? Why would if I really wanted a kid, why would I stop? I went through all that, all the shots, you know, being giving myself the shot, and just like it was just a lot. And then I just one day I was just like, I don't know. I have this guilt about that, on top of the fact that I have, um I don't know if it's like shame and guilt, but I also find myself, I know I've done this to you, and thankfully you've been a really good friend to me, where you don't, I don't know if it's a good friend or not, because there's a lot of things that you should really call me on my bullshit, and you don't. And I know you bite your tongue a lot. You really probably shouldn't, but for whatever reason you do. Whereas with you, I don't bite my tongue. I tell you what I feel, how I feel. I wasn't always that well. I wasn't always like that. I used to always hold things in to the point where it would make me sick. And then one day I was just like, fuck it. You're getting on my nerves. It started with letters and emails. And now it's just like, I just say how I feel, about a certain situation. I don't know if you're at that point yet, because I know there's been situations between the two of us where I know I probably unfairly, not that I intentionally guilted you, but because I couldn't hold my tongue, I know that some of the words I may have said could have come across like I was trying to guilt you. You know what I mean? And you always hold back, and you just, like you're doing now. You suck your lips in, bite your lips. You do that. And I don't know if it's like you're thinking about it, or, what the circumstance is. But I do know, like there were periods of time where, you know, trying to wrestle between being as the best kind of friend that I can be to you, while also suppressing my sadness about the fact that I couldn't share that same kind of joy. Like I always envisioned us having our kids together, that, playing, and they become best friends and that kind of thing. And so watching you raise your kids while at the same time suppressing in my own way my feelings, but to the point where whenever they would pop up, it would be like a one-liner, and it's not cool to you. It's not fair to you, but you wouldn't say anything. You just be like, whatever. Oh, Marissa, I didn't mean to make you cry. Really? Oh, shit. I hate you right now. The bitch is crying. We're zooming so I can see her. I hate you right now. So anyway, I'm gonna, I never want to like hurt Marissa's feelings or anything like that. I'm gonna let her gather herself, but at the end of the day, I always want her to be happy, and sometimes it it's like my satisfaction overtook her happiness. it's not fair, but it's like a coping mechanism. You know what I mean? To deal with my inadequacies and what I was unable to have. It's the shame and the guilt and putting that on somebody else, which is not fair, but we all cope in our own ways. And it wasn't fair to her. And, but, you know, she still stayed my friend and she didn't, you know, throw me away. Anyway, go ahead. You're back.
No, but you have to remember too, when you're, and that's the whole part about listening to somebody else. When they're communicating with you, you shouldn't communicate out of a heightened sense of feelings. So, like, somebody might come to you and make you really angry. Take a moment, because you want to acknowledge that person's feelings. You want to understand what their journey is. And yeah, you want to respond. And sometimes the response is better off saying nothing, because what does that do for the relationship that you're looking to grow? You know, like, oh, you're making me feel bad. Oh, okay. But it's just a moment. You might get out of it once you just sit and process for a moment. And once you sit and listen to someone else, what?
Now you got me tearing up. I hate you right now.
But it's true though. You can't communicate in heightened sense of feelings, and that's even. But even that speaks to even under happiness. You might have plans when you're at a heightened state of happiness, but that might not be able to come to fruition, and you can't hold someone accountable for communication during heightened sense of emotion.
Right.
That's just not how it should work.
Right. It's true. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't make you cry. I just.
No, it's not that you did. Don't worry about that. And the thing is, of the two of us, I'm not a crier, but
No,
for
that's
some
what I was
reason,
like, what is she doing? I'm looking at you.
what is happening? Ew. No, because you know what? The conversation that you were just doing is a conversation I had with myself in private, because, you know, I was there at points in my life, and I remember conversations, hearing other people, and I just think about like that in multiple ways. It's not, you know, that conversation we've had in so many different ways and areas and with different people, and it's not something that's very. I have survivor's guilt, I think it's called,
Well, they
where I just.
survivor's remorse. Kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They actually have there's a TV show called that too. It's like,
yeah,
it's like athletes who go to AAU basketball and football camp and all this stuff with their best friend. But their best friend gets the scholarship to Kentucky.
oh
They go to, you know, the local school around town. The friend goes to get a, you know, football scholarship, or goes to become NFL or NBA or something, and they're like, what the hell? You know,
yeah,
you came up the same way. And I'm sure that's like siblings do that too. There's like the one,
yeah.
oh, I could sing better than her. Why is she Mary J? You know?
I feel like that's a Braxton sister. But
Exactly. I can sing, okay?
Tamara can sing really good. That new song that she has, I swear it's Tony when she sings.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But
Hmm.
it's crazy, because it's like I have guilt that sometimes I suppress my happiness or a moment. I don't do that with you, um, but I do that with other people. And I don't like, even when.
Conversations about this on and off air where I'm looking at you, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is like, be real. But I can't,
Yeah,
like I said, I can't expect you to come to the same point that I did.
yeah.
I don't like, I care about hurting people's feelings, but I can no longer suppress my own to make that
Hmm.
comfortable.
Yeah.
It's too much. Remember how much you'd be like, girl, go to the bathroom. And be like, no, I'm holding, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm holding everything in,
Yeah.
everything. So you
I
just,
don't know. I don't do that with a lot of things. There's just some things that I do feel guilty about, and I but again, that just has to do with my some things I do hold. I bite my tongue because I know that it's not about me, or I'm really angry, or I'm really sad, or I'm really something in that moment, and I don't want to talk out of those feelings.
You know what always sticks with me when, like, if somebody said to name 5 things, like, to describe Marissa, one of the one things that will always come up is when you say, "I pick my battles."
Mm-hmm.
I always think of how you always say that, "Pick my battles."
Yeah.
I'm like, bitch, every love is a battlefield, okay?
I love that song.
Crazy. Well, let's transition. I know it's a quick
Yeah.
transition, but let's transition to yep, that's trending.
Mm.
Yep, that's trending.
We wanted to spend some time talking to our friend Missy about COVID-19 and blood donations and that kind of thing. So welcome our friend Missy to the show.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm
How
good.
your
Thank
mama
you for
doing?
having me on. What?
How your mama doing?
Family's good. Thank you.
How you surviving with the corona and being stuck in the house and
The
This
Rona.
is not very different than what I do on a weekly basis. Except I used to not be able to work from home, and now I'm sort of allowed to work from home. It depends. But I work in the donor centers now.
As two introverts, this is okay. The only thing that's not okay is occasional. Oh, you're not an introvert, but the occasional like walk around a store. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yes.
like that's the only thing that's throwing me through the loop. And that, like, and going to a store, like I just went to our local like butcher shop because we were getting cold cuts. The kids wanted sandwiches, and everybody has to, like, they have the little tape on the floor, and I'm like, I hope this never ends.
yeah, they need to keep that tape down because there's certain people that they don't know. Like, back up. You know, you ever go in the supermarket and somebody's like knocking
Yes.
your shopping cart?
Yes. And it's like, I don't know if you guys ever listened to Dane Cook, but like people would like leave something in line and then walk away and then come back and think
Yes.
that was absolutely fine, and that is not fine. And now it's even less fine.
Yeah, exactly. And I really like the self checkout. You know, I'm really about that now.
Well,
You know?
the CVS by me, they don't have anybody at the register after a certain time because they're still open till I think it's 10 now. But from like 7 to 10, it's only self checkout. And I was like, you don't know that I'm not taking like CoverGirl makeup or, you know, whatever. I'm not.
There's
But
somebody in the back room on the camera, I'm sure.
yeah, but are they going to run out in time? I doubt it because I'll just cough.
They'll
just
be
saying.
like, I saw you take that Vaseline.
I know.
But anyway. All right, so thank you again for coming on the show. I think Marissa keeps going in and out for whatever reason. I don't know why. Is anybody else noticing that? Well, only anybody else would be Missy.
It does you both cut off a little bit. I think I didn't know. I've never used Zoom before, so
Okay.
I didn't know with that.
Yeah, I don't know either. But as long as you guys can hear me,
She's gone.
because I'm the most important voice on the Zoom.
Nice.
I appreciate that.
I think she's laughing at you.
The first thing I want to get into is, like, you hear all this stuff about COVID, and you know it's really important that people start donating blood now, but it's like, who's going to a blood drive?
Well, that's actually funny because all blood drives have been canceled. So the American Red Cross, I don't know if you guys ever watch Hulu, but they have a advertisement on constantly. But in the New York area, there is no American Red Cross gathering blood. So there is a need for blood, but we've canceled all mobile blood drives. So if you used to have one at the YMCA or at a school, obviously we're not having that.
Right.
So right now, blood donations are only being used for critical cases. There's no elective surgery at all. So we're doing okay right now with blood, but once elective surgeries happen or if accidents increase, because, you know, people on the road is drastically decreased. They're all crazy on the road, but not as many accidents as we usually have. We're going to be in a dire situation.
So how do
Now, where do you go?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marissa.
How do you, like, I consider myself a unicorn. I'm O negative and CMV negative.
Oh wow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I
that's a
think
big deal.
She's like proud of that.
It is.
And so anyway,
It's a big deal.
But I'm a big deal.
But do you donate?
I do donate. I have my blood donor card,
Okay.
and I'm so amazing that whenever I go to like our blood center here on Vets Highway, I usually do it during the holidays. They never make me wait. So they're like, "Do you have an appointment?" And I slap my card down. I'm like, "Oh, negative, CMV negative." They're like, "Sit right down." And I'm
Yes.
like,
but what is the card? I don't understand. What is that?
It's so if you once you donate blood, it's to kind of get you through medical a little bit quicker. So when you go in to donate blood, we have 6 donor centers on Long Island. There's a whole bunch from New York Blood Center. We're not just in New York anymore. But if you wanted to go in to donate, if you've never donated before and you don't have a card, it takes a little bit longer. So, and it also has your blood type on it. So if you're like Marissa, you're going to get in there a little bit quicker because that's, it's a big deal to be O negative. People think that it's a rare blood type. It's not that. It's your antigens are a little bit different. So that is a little bit more rare, but O negative, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, so O negative is what they use. So like when you're watching TV and you see the bad medical dramas and they're like, we need 2 units of O neg stat. That actually happens. That's exactly what they do. So if you go to a hospital and you need blood immediately, they don't have time to type you. They're going to use O negative. So that's why it's so important to have O negative in stock all the time because almost everybody can have it.
But then now, correct me if I'm wrong, being CMV negative, I can also give blood to newborn babies, right?
Yes. So that's a big deal too because
What is that? What is that?
It's a
you can
bacteria
answer better.
in your blood. It's a bacteria in your blood. And it's not that you can get something. It just happens to be present in your blood. So if you're negative, that means you're negative of that. You can give blood to newborn babies.
So not only is Marissa's red blood cell important, her plasma is important because that's where those antigens develop, and that's what babies need a lot.
Well, I think nobody danced because somebody told them their blood was good.
Listen, when
Yeah,
you
you're looking for a
got like
vampire.
a few, but first of all, when you've got a few things that are amazing, I mean, you dance, okay? So O negative, CMV negative, you know what it is to walk into a place and feel like a VIP?
Well, I mean, like, look, keeping it real, you're saving lives. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so since there's no blood drives, I'm sorry.
I was saying, see, Tamika.
Whatever. So what about the blood drive? So there's no blood drive. So how are people? Are they donating now, or can you still donate?
No, you can still donate. There's 6 blood centers specifically for Long Island. Blood centers, it's Port Jeff, Bohemia, Melville, Massapequa. Those are the ones closest to where we reside. We're taking appointments only. That way we can stagger how many people are in there at the same time so that everybody's safe because we want to take the right precautions. So the door is locked. So when you come up to the door, somebody will greet you at the door. They'll take your temperature when you come in, and then they'll let you donate blood as long as you meet certain criteria. But if anybody right now wants to donate blood, they'd have to contact one of the donor centers, and then they could register an appointment. But here's what's going to happen. Once the stay-at-home is lifted, I can't lift anything. Once the stay-at-home is lifted and elective surgeries go back on the table, we have no blood on the shelves. So if there's
Really bad.
If there's a surge of accidents, elective surgery is not like, oh, I'm going to go get a tummy tuck. Elective surgery is I have to get my knee replaced. I have to take care of the surgery that I've been needing, but it's elective because you don't need it right now. But once those go back on, we don't have enough blood to sustain that. So we need people.
What's the process though? Like do they have contingency plans that you know of that are set in place for the future? Say it's June or July, where people, what are they going to do? Do you know?
So right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to schedule as many blood drives as possible. So as soon as the stay-at-home is lifted, you're going to see like a ton of blood drives go on the books. And normally we're already in a shortage for June, July, and August because people do not want to donate when they're on vacation,
right?
When they're partying, obviously.
On vacation.
Oh, well, probably not.
There's going to be a lot of staycations.
But I don't think a lot of people think about donating blood in general, because without a crisis, only 2% of the population actually donates blood. And that same 2% is giving again and again. So Marissa, when you donate, how often do you get called to come back and donate again?
Oh, I get the Hero Club. I get all of it because just being my
What's
husband.
the Hero Club?
Oh, when you're you're part of the Hero Club, and the more you donate, you get like free shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a hero, like a sandwich.
No, like little
Like a
trinkets,
superhero.
like trinkets and stuff. But it's Hero, Hero, like the
Oh.
Hero Club, because I'm O. But my husband's O as well. But he doesn't. He's not negative, so he doesn't feel like it's as important.
But that's the thing on Long Island. We are always in a blood shortage for O positive. So what
Really?
a lot of people don't realize, B positive is the most prevalent blood type in New York. But across the country, it's not. It's super rare to have people be positive. I'm B positive, but they don't really need my blood right now because we have enough B positive. It's the O negative and the O positive that we really need. And then if you leave New York, the reason why the blood diversity is so different is because it's based on background. It's based on ethnicity. So in New York, you have a lot more ethnicities, but you need a lot of different types of blood. Once you leave New York, you don't have that. You have a lot of white blood in certain places. I mean, let's be real. And that doesn't include
White blood is in white people, or white blood is in white blood?
No, white blood is in white people.
Oh, okay.
And that
And what's that blood type?
It depends, but you're going to see amongst, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but you're going to see a little bit less of B positive and other bloods that are a little bit considered more rare. So one of the rarest blood types is AB, but the problem is AB can't give to anybody except AB. So that becomes the thing where, depending on what antigens they need and stuff like that, it could be a golden type of blood, but most people can take O negative. That's why it's so sought after. But,
so what are the two questions, and maybe we can answer them at the same time. What are the age requirements, and as it pertains to the coronavirus, why are they saying so much that people need to donate now when it comes to that? And do they do testing to see if you have it while you're
those are really good questions. So the age requirements, they're the same. They'll stay the same, but other restrictions the FDA has lifted. I can tell you about those if there's time. But if you're 16, you can donate blood with parental or guardian consent. Okay. After 16, 17, 18, and they don't need parental or guardian consent. They just need to meet a certain height and weight requirement. Once you hit 19, you can donate blood without anyone's consent, as long as you're 110 pounds. And then once you hit 74, after 74, you need a one-time doctor's note for your doctor to say, yes, you're healthy enough to donate blood, because there's other restrictions for that person. Not that we don't want their blood, but we want to make sure they don't leave feeling worse. So the doctor will make that assessment. And then they don't need another doctor's note unless they have a major procedure. So okay. 16 to 74.
Okay, cool. And what about with the corona? Are they testing there, or
okay?
What is it needed for when it comes to that?
So that's a two-part. So what we need people to donate is not it's not just blood; it's plasma. So if anybody has had COVID-19 and they have proof that they've had it, they've been tested, then they have a screenshot of that, we can sign them up to donate COVID plasma. It's called convalescent plasma. What happens is that plasma has antibodies because they've already fought the disease, and it's given to people that are in dire need of something, and those antibodies help them to recover from COVID easier. So right now, the only people that are developing this is New York Blood Center. They're taking in the plasma with the help of, right now, I think we're working with Mount Sinai Hospital in this area. And then that is being in return transfused to COVID patients so that they can hopefully fight COVID. And then What was the other question?
Are they testing
Oh,
for it there?
we don't test the blood for coronavirus because it's coronavirus. I don't know if you guys know, but coronavirus is it's the common cold too. So there's different types of it. Coronavirus is not transmitted through blood, and a lot of people don't understand why that is, but it's because it's a respiratory infection. It's not something that you can get from blood, so we do not test for it. However, other things that you could possibly get through blood, we do make sure the blood is scrubbed and before it goes to anybody, and we'll test for certain things like HIV,
So
certain
there's
blood.
like a cycle once it's drawn from your I'm sorry, I'm asking all the questions.
No, it's fine.
Once it's drawn from your veins, like the cycle is like what? What are they?
Okay, so after the blood is taken, it depends. There's two types of blood, well, there's multiple blood donations, but when it comes to red blood cells, there's a whole blood donation, which means that it's the red blood cells, the platelets, the plasma, and the white blood cells that are taken out as one pint. That then goes to the lab. It gets scrubbed so that if somebody smokes, whether it's tobacco or marijuana, it's scrubbed from the blood. And after it goes from there, and any medications are taken out. So blood thinners can't be taken out. So if somebody's on a blood thinner and they didn't tell us that because we asked those specific questions, we can't use the blood. But if they have other medications, like say somebody's on mental health regimen, that's taken out of the blood and then it's separated. And then cancer patients get the platelets for the most part. The red blood cell goes usually to accident victims, sickle cell patients, and anybody that has like any type of blood disorder. And then the plasma usually goes to like babies, but it depends on who needs it. When it's a double red cell, it's just hemoglobin. And that is given to, because it's already restricted, it's already processed when it's taken out of the body. That's why it takes a little bit longer. And then we're checking for anything, and then it goes straight to the hospital.
What's the most important thing to donate? Whole blood, plasma? What's more important?
So it depends, because it depends on where the need is at any given time. Right now, we're looking for whole blood. So anybody that wants to make a whole blood donation, anybody that meets the criteria for the double red cell, we'll take that too for like O negative, because that is a better type of blood to give to somebody who is in trauma. So,
Okay.
But we wouldn't be able to donate via double red cell because we're not tall enough and we don't weigh enough. I weigh enough, but I'm not tall enough. You have to be 5'5", because it's based
And
on
160,
BMI.
right? 5'5"
Yeah.
and 160?
I think so, yeah. And then it also depends on what your iron is, and that's the reason why a lot of women can't donate, is their iron's not high enough.
I donated one time. It was the worst experience of my life. I feel like I was there for an hour. I have very weak veins. It took all damn day.
Yeah.
And
So
I can't do this again. Like, I'm sorry. They never called me again. They were just probably like, all right, we good.
What's your blood?
do you know your blood type?
I do, but I don't remember it. I think it's A.
Okay. Well, people don't need to know their blood type in order to donate. That's one of the most common questions I get. You don't need to know your blood type because we'll type it, but it does help, because if you're like,
Hey.
I'm O negative, they're gonna pull out all the stops. Yeah.
Well, I have, when I was born, back in the day, I don't know if they do them now, but like, the baby book where your mom or your grandmother would write every little detail. So in the beginning, that's how I always know. When I know that I need to get my blood type, I'll go to the book and see what it was written down. Because it even has my my bracelet when you're first born, has that in there, like all that. My family's like been neurotic about, documenting everything. I wonder where I get that from. But so it has the blood type in there.
I just have to say something. Missy, you're drinking that coffee and it looks like heaven.
It is. This is my first day in 2 weeks.
I don't know what it is about coffee from outside of your house, but that looks like, is it everything I think of?
It really is, and I feel bad saying that because I actually went out to go get it because I was on my way home from the donor center, and I felt like since I was working, I might as well treat myself. Yeah.
Well, now speaking of the coffee, can you drink coffee before giving blood?
You shouldn't, but you can. So just quickly, my first donating experience. So you're supposed to eat something and be hydrated when you go to donate blood. I work for the blood
Which is
center.
funny.
I know this,
I
but
think I know where this is going.
I did not do that. My intake of calories that day consisted of 9 cups of coffee. And I donated blood, and then I didn't understand why I was lightheaded afterwards. So you're supposed to kind of cut back on caffeine. And then when I found myself in the parking lot of the fire department on the ground after I had donated, I couldn't understand why.
Well,
So yeah, you should abstain from caffeine before you donate.
I'm just diverting just a little bit when you mentioned coffee. So we've known each other, all three of us, for years.
Yes.
And one thing that always comes to my mind,
Decades.
what?
Decades.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20 years. You guys have known each other longer than, it's weird.
Yeah.
I've known Missy longer than I've known Marissa.
And I've known
Marissa has
Missy
known
longer
Missy.
than I've known Tamika. Yeah.
Here. And there you go. So, but that ain't got nothing to do with anything. But I just remember, so when we all used to work together in Sam Goody, Missy would always come in with her cup of coffee from like Starbucks. And I'd always look at her like, this is so pretentious. Who the hell buys coffee?
I
And
know.
now,
I didn't
like-
drink coffee at the time.
And now I'm like, oh, I gotta stop at
Ugh.
7-Eleven. Like, and I got like, I bought
You're drinking
Starbucks stock.
coffee?
It's like, well, no, I didn't. I wanted to buy Starbucks stock. It ended up, I waited too long. I should have bought it back in the day when Missy was running to Starbucks. It was like
We
$15.
We full disclosure, we all worked at the same music store in a shopping center, and they had Starbucks there. And at the time, I didn't drink
Oh, they
coffee.
did?
All I
didn't remember
drank.
that.
Yeah, it was right
Yep.
next to
Yeah, it was over by
Subway.
the Chinese buffet. It was the Chinese buffet, then it was Subway, then it was Starbucks. Yep.
I
Yeah.
totally don't remember that.
Do you guys remember I'm sorry. I'm
No,
go
totally digressing.
No,
The-
say what?
say
what?
Chinese buffet. Do you guys remember what they found in the dumpster?
Yes,
Yes.
you told me the story.
What was it?
It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible story. But they found pelts in the dumpster of that Chinese buffet.
Hell,
It was. I
what
think you
a-
were telling me the story
Like
that
gun
the
pelt?
security
Mm.
guard was slammed someone against the dumpster, and then they found it in there.
Yep. They found local pets. They found their they found. I'm not lying, guys. This is what the security guard had told me. So they had found cat and dog.
And it shut
Pelt.
down, but now there's a new buffet there.
Yeah, it's a different buffet, I think.
Well, I think buffets is a wrap. Like,
But,
COVID has shut down. Like, I'm trying to go to Atlantic City this month. I don't know if I'm gonna go this summer. I'm trying to go this summer. But now I'm like, do I really want to go to the buffet?
Well, I
still
don't know. I don't
I
know.
No,
still
because
do.
it was already bad enough. People always cough and they don't cover their mouth. But maybe more people will be more conscious of how they are in public. Maybe it's forcing people to be more self-aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do they have buffets in places where they wear the masks all the time?
Wait,
I
what?
don't like.
There's
So
buffets in hospitals.
the places I think there's places in China. I know there's places in South Korea because I've been there, but where they wear the masks all the time anyway. I wonder if they have buffets at those places too.
Yeah,
I don't know how that works.
Things that make you say, Well, welcome to our show, because this is where we always go off topic. But that's part of the show.
No, I love your show. You guys are great. I think you guys are really funny too.
What do you think about us?
Tell me.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Honestly, I'm extremely entertained when you guys aren't fighting. I don't like the
not-
fights.
well,
When
we're
you
not
guys
fighting.
argue, sometimes
Who
you guys
was
argue.
fighting?
Sometimes you guys
We
argue,
get a-
and then
we
I
get a
get
little-
very uncomfortable.
We get a little testy, but it's all in good fun.
No, you guys are actually really
She
funny.
ain't going nowhere. Ain't nobody better than me. I mean, come on, let's be real. So before we end this blood
Oh my god.
discussion, how long between blood donations can you go? Like,
Okay.
if I was to go make an appointment and go on Monday, when can I go back again?
2 months. So if you do make a regular whole blood donation, it's 56 days between donations. That gives your body time to recuperate. And if my boss hears any of this, I don't care. But You burn 650 calories every time you donate blood. What?
Really?
Yeah. You're burning 650 calories when you donate
Wait,
blood.
how?
That's
How?
because, first of all, your body's trying to recreate the blood. So that's why you have to give your body 56 days, because now you're down a pint of blood. It takes your body 56 days to regenerate the whole blood. So the red blood cells, the platelets, the plasma, it takes your body some time to have enough of it so you can sustain. Some people, like my roommate, she has hemochromatosis, which means that she has a high amount of iron in her blood. She's the type of person that should donate every 30 days, if not every 2 weeks, depending on how her blood is. But for most people, a general thing, 56 days between donations. Now, somebody donates the double red cell that I talked about before, you're just giving red blood cells. It takes 112 days for your body to make that back up. So that's 4 months instead of 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just think it's funny because only 38% of all people are actually eligible to give blood. Now, so if you have 100 people come in and only 38 of them can donate, it's not that the blood isn't good. It's that person, most often, it's because that person is going to walk out feeling worse or not being able to function or something. Most people can't donate because of a risk to the donor, not to the person receiving the blood. And then out of the 38%
Right.
of people that can donate in the country, 5% do. In New York, it's only 2%. And in New York, we have the highest amount of community service per capita than the entire United States. Yet we have the lowest amount of people that come in and donate blood.
Because they don't know you guys got cookies and snacks
And
drinks. You've
Don't
got
you
juice,
care about a cookie?
snacks.
some people don't, but some people do. And the one
People
thing,
are giving money. Like, do they still give money for donations?
no. So if a hospital, that's actually, it's not a law, but a hospital is not allowed to get blood if the blood has been paid for, because you run the risk of having people lie about what they did. And then there's risk of the blood being tainted, or them saying that they weigh a certain amount and they don't. We don't weigh people. We go on the honor system here.
Right.
So
I mean, you can tell by looking sometimes, like
sometimes,
they're 100 pounds off.
but I'm going to tell you, like, if you have to be 110 pounds, I wouldn't think you could give blood. I don't know what you weigh, but I wouldn't be surprised if they turn you away and say, there's no way you're 100.
I'm never giving blood again.
You're talking to her, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, you can't tell sometimes, like, when somebody says that they they're going to meet the height, weight requirement, whatever. So a lot of people can't give blood because it's going to be a detriment to themselves.
Right.
And you have all these people that are super healthy, they can give blood, but they want to donate money, which is fine. And then there's all these people that don't have money to donate. It doesn't cost them anything to give the blood. So it's an easy way to give back without, like, leaving, and you're saving lives. But
Well,
a
how
lot
are
of
you guys promoting it? Not you specifically,
Mhm.
but what things are being done to promote it? And twofold question: what I mean, I know we start off talking about the coronavirus, but what other than car accidents and major accidents, what is the blood being used for?
So where our donations for blood, it's just going to those in need. We do testing, but that's a totally different donation process when we test blood, like cord blood, things like that, which has stem cells. But when it comes to blood donations that we're giving to the hospital, we are asking the groups that have their drives to promote it. So that's where my job comes in. I'm considered I'm like a recruiter. So I'm trying to get more people to go to a blood drive by going, and I do a lot of public speaking about the need for blood. And I talk to a lot of people, and I start with kids. I go into classrooms and I talk to kids about the need for blood and where does the blood go? What is the blood made of? Because those kids, when they're well informed, they're going to talk to their parents, their neighbors. And then as they get older and they get into high school, they're going to donate blood. And then as they get older.
I agree. My high school used to do them. And
Yep.
then I think that's when I got my card, my first card, which was like paper.
Damn,
And
you
then
had like 40 years then, huh?
No. No. I No. But in high school, that they always did drives every year, and it was always such a big deal to go because you got out of class and then, you just laid down on a mat because you said you were lightheaded.
Yeah, no, that's exactly, and it's funny because the high school students though now, and like, I'm sorry, but millennials and Generation Z, they get a really bad rap, but especially the
Deservedly
generation,
so.
what?
Deservedly so.
Well, sometimes, but I gotta tell you, like, especially Generation Z, these kids are so well informed and make such great decisions, and they get other people involved like nothing I've ever seen. The difference between running a blood drive, well, before this all happened, running a blood drive this year versus running a blood drive only 3 years ago is insanely different. My blood drives at high schools that I used to get 50 or 60 pints, you have these kids that are well informed and are really good about speaking publicly about it and stuff like that. There are like hundreds to 200 like people coming down to donate.
Cool.
I don't know. I have hope.
Cool. Very cool.
Same.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you for coming on. Usually at the end of the show, I ask Marissa where can they catch us, but I'm going to flip it a little bit. Where do you catch us, Missy?
Oh, your podcast?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get your podcast through iTunes.
Okay.
And it comes through my daily feed whenever I haven't listened. But I'm not gonna lie, ever since I haven't been driving around, I'm about 20 something episodes behind. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but you listen. That's all. You look.
Don't look at me like that.
You listen, and that's all we ask, and we ask people to follow us on where, Marissa?
All your streaming devices.
No, follow us.
Follow us on Yep Yeah Yes 18 on Instagram and Twitter, the Yep Yeah Yeah podcast on Facebook, and you can listen to us on any streaming device. All you have to type in is the Yep Yeah Yes podcast.
Holla. Missy, thank you for joining us today, and hopefully we'll have you back again just to maybe reminisce about the goody
Coffee.
days.
Oh, that'd be great. I have pictures of you guys I just found.
We should have.
Awesome.
What? Do you have one in front of you?
No.
Wait, what?
So,
I missed that.
in my closet, I have pictures of you guys that I was going through, and I thought about having them here, but I don't know how that would.
Well,
I'll text them to you.
Do me a favor. Take a couple pictures of it, screenshots of them, send them my way, and then I would put a collage together along with the video. I like editing stuff.
Okay. I found Noah too. I don't know if you remember Noah.
I remember him. Yeah, I remember him.
All of them.
He wasn't.
And Jonas, when he worked with us, and Mike Anello, like weird pictures. Weird.
Yeah, I have no pictures really of anybody. I have like 2 or 3 pictures, but who cares? It is.
Marissa, for some reason, every time I got you in a shot, you're like turning away. Did you not like to be in pictures? Because I thought
this she's a ham.
That's what I thought, but a lot of the pictures are in the back of her head. And I'm like, I definitely was trying to get.
But you're very, very funny. You're very funny. You make me laugh from like my gut. So you probably said something and I was going, oh, and that's the guy. Do I cackle when I laugh?
Sometimes.
Well, this is news to
just
me
did.
because my daughter. My daughter was cackling yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, where do you get that cackle?
You cackle.
My baby's daddy was like, are you kidding me? You cackle like that so loud.
That's all you always cackle. It's like
It's okay. I guffaw, apparently.
What?
I was told that I guffaw when I laugh. I have like a I'm like, no, I don't. But apparently I do.
I laugh from my throat. I realize that. I'm a throat laugher.
That's what my brother sounds like Muttley. He's always like it's so annoying. I hope he doesn't hear this. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got to do this again.
This was fun though. Yeah.
Have a goodie reunion. Talk about music and life and all those great things. But thank you for coming on the show. And guys, donate, please. Save my life in the future. I'm praying that I can, make it to 80 something, and I might need blood one day. I might break a hip, and
well, just really quick. Both
it
my
with me.
parents needed blood transfusions. You never know. You never know when they're going to need it.
Do it
Yeah.
with me. Yep, yeah, yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.